and welcome to the 5 Minute Film Club, where today I reach the end of Pierce Brosnan's adventure as James Bond in Die Another Day from 2002. It was the 20th official James Bond entry, and it was also a celebration of 40 years of James Bond. The film starts in North Korea, where Bond is there to meet with Colonel Tan Sun Moon. Tan Sun Moon no Tan? That is their name? Sorry. Bond wants to stop him from illegally trading weapons for diamonds, but Colonel Moon's bodyguard Zhao gets a message revealing that in fact Bond works for MI6 and Moon attempts to kill him. Bond escapes on a hovercraft and a chase ensues that leaves Moon driving off a cliff and presumably falling to his death.
Saved by the bell.
However, Bond for once doesn't get away and is captured and tortured for information, which plays out during the opening credits to the now infamous Madonna song Die Another Day. Now, I for one don't think that this is actually a wholly awful early 2000s Madonna song, but the thing that really gets to me about this whole song and opening of the film is the credits and kind of what it's trying to do. You've got Bond being tortured, never seen Bond being tortured before, so you've got that going on. Then you've got the song, which is, all staccato, and then you've got weird CGI ice and fire, women writhing about and scorpions. Altogether it's just a right mess. 14 months later, Bond is released in a prisoner exchange with the US intelligence service. They return Zhao and Bond faces a harsh debrief from M, who says that he is now relieved of active duty as a 00 because they believe Bond was actually leaking information during his torture, something that Bond says he'd never do. He's convinced there is a double agent working in MI6 and breaks out to investigate and also to find Zhao. His search leads him to find him in Cuba, undergoing gene therapy to change his appearance. Bond breaks into the facility along with the mysterious Jinx Johnson, played by Halle Berry, and Bond interrupts Zhao's treatment, but in the ensuing firefight he escapes. But Bond manages to find a diamond he left behind that is engraved GG, which leads him to a British billionaire playboy called Gustav Graves, played by Toby Stephens. Graves only appeared on the scene a year earlier with no backstory prior to that. However, MI6 are already investigating him with their agent Miranda Frost, played by Rosamund Pike, and she accompanies Bond to Graves' Ice Palace in Iceland, where he unveils to the world his Project Icarus, a huge satellite encrusted with diamonds that he says will be used to bring sun to developing world nations 24 hours a day to help with production. Jinx has also snuck along to Iceland. She is captured, and then Bond arrives to try and rescue her, and he finally discovers the truth, that Graves is in fact Colonel Moon, who has undergone a DNA replacement something or other, and basically he just looks like Toby Stephens. He's gone from looking like somebody from North Korea to somebody looking like a member of the current government. Bond also learns that the double agent all along has been Miranda Frost, who has been in love with Moon ever since they met at university. Moon's Icarus satellite is also, funnily enough, not actually for world good, but instead he plans on using it as a laser weapon to rid the demilitarized zone of all its mines, and then the North Korean troops can march down into the south and invade and hopefully start World War III. There is then a load of nonsense to do with a CGI plane breaking up through the laser and the fight between Gustav Graves and Bond and Miranda Frost and Jinx, and it's really messy.
Read this, bitch!
And then Jinx and Bond end up on a helicopter full of diamonds. They kind of end up on, some kind of lovely little temple place, getting to know each other better. The end of the film, couldn't care less. As I mentioned in my last video, I went to see this at the cinema 3 times. And I think those 3 times were actually in the same week. First, we were all taken to see it at school as a kind of end-of-year treat, and then I went to see it again a couple of days later with the rest of the school. I'd been asked to accompany the younger kids to go and see this, and then my good friend Robert and I went to see it probably on the weekend of that same week. So I saw this 3 times. And I've seen this subsequently another couple of times. So all in all, it's probably the Bond film I've watched the most, and it doesn't deserve to hold that title. This film, as I said, was meant to be a celebration of all things Bond, and to a degree it is. There are references all over the place to practically every single Bond film, and not just in the Q scene, but also in its plot and character. Graves is part Blofeld in Diamonds Are Forever, and also his facial manipulation is a bit akin to what was going on in Thunderball and, to a degree, Kananga in Live and Let Die. There's really too many tiny little references to mention, but for me, they all feel derivative of the original. The absolute best thing about this film is the first 40 minutes, right up until the ridiculous ice palace and the invisible car. The pre-credits is great. The scenes between Pierce Brosnan and Judi Dench's M, I think there's a really great dynamic that finally arrives in this film between them. And I also really like the pairing of Halle Berry and Pierce Brosnan. Halle Berry's character is far and away the best Bond girl that Pierce Brosnan's had. So all of that is really great. And then it's just let down by a script and a production team that really want to try and push this and the fantastical element as far as they possibly can, and pairing their ambitions with the kind of early form of CGI and films like The Matrix, although this is not like The Matrix and doesn't use its technology in the same way or to the same effect. It's more like Triple X, those kind of films that were all the rage in the early 2000s. And this is just trying to fit James Bond into that. You know, Bond in the past has always kind of tried to cannibalise, you know, what's going on at the box office and twist it and blend it in with the Bond formula, and they're trying to do that here with CGI. And Bond isn't about CGI. Bond is about stunts, and you know, real stunts, real professionals doing a fantastic job, and we're meant to sit there and go, how on earth is this possible? With this, you sit there and you think there's just no jeopardy going on here. There's nothing really to get my heart going in the action sequences at all, because it feels fake, and that's because it is. But this is not the worst Bond film by any means. As to be honest, there is a lot more good than bad here, and I think after GoldenEye this is probably Pierce Brosnan's best outing. All those years ago when the Bond team made Moonraker, they pushed James Bond to its credibility breaking point, and then they really had to scale back with the next film. And so I feel like that happened again. Die Another Day came out and it had a lukewarm reception from critics and fans. And it's astonishing to me that the team that made this film would then, just a few years later, create maybe the best Bond film ever. But for my full thoughts on Casino Royale, you'll have to wait a little bit. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.